my name is Haley Freedlund and I'm a trombonist living in Seattle, Washington. I am going to walk you through a little bit of information about the trombone. The trombone is a brass instrument and you play it by vibrating the mouthpiece and producing air with your body. And the vibrations in the air go all the way through the instrument, through all of its tubes, and come out the bell and produce a sound. There are really only a few main parts to the trombone. I pointed out one of them already. One of them is the mouthpiece. The mouthpiece is usually made of silver. Sometimes it's made of plastic if you're allergic to silver, but it can really be made of lots of different kinds of metals or coated in lots of different kinds of metals. You hold it to your face and you vibrate through it. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And then there's two other big parts. The first part is the bell, and it usually comes in a big piece like this. It sometimes doesn't have this extra tubing. Mine does. It helps me play lower notes easier. And then we've got a slide. The slide is how you produce the different pitches or notes on the instrument, and it has 7 positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So there's 7 total positions. And there's an inner slide and an outer slide, as you might have just seen. So the outer slide is what you move. You hold a brace between your right hand fingers and move it down like that. The trombone is used in all sorts of different kinds of music. A lot of trombonists play jazz, some play classical music, but you can play salsa, funk, R&B, ska music. Really the options are limitless. It's up to you what you decide to play on the trombone. But I would say most trombonists play jazz or jazz adjacent music. The slide locks, which is good to know. Maybe I can get a little closer to the camera. So it locks like that. That way you can hold it with one hand. There's also one other important part, which is the water key or the spit valve. When you play a wind instrument, you use your mouth, and your mouth has both hot air and saliva. And that means that in this big tube of ours, in our slide, you can gather all of that hot air and condensation and saliva, and it starts to just sound a little bit wet. And so you use the water key. I'm sorry, that was a little gross. To just get all that water out. So you hold the trombone in your right hand. When you're looking at it from the top, it should make an L shape. And then you can hold the whole thing with the slide locked in your left hand. The way that I like to hold my trombone is I use one thumb to brace at the top on this crossbar. I bring my second finger across the top support bar, usually over by the mouthpiece, and then I use my other 3 fingers to hold in between this brace and the brace that you hold with your right hand. And I take my right hand, I'll unlock the slide, and I usually just hold it really lightly. I take 2 fingers and my thumb and I just pinch right in the middle, like that. Makes it so I can just move it with my wrist. Don't have to do a lot of big arm work, which can hurt over time. And then let's talk a little bit about embouchure and producing a sound. I'll get a little bit closer to the camera for this, hopefully you can see me. So you take the mouthpiece. When you play brass instruments, there's a couple of things that come into work together when you're producing a sound. You want to have tight corners with your mouth. That way the air doesn't seep out of the side when you make a seal with your lips and your mouthpiece, like this. There's lots of different ways to get to a trombone embouchure. What I like to think of is when you bite like a lemon, your mouth gets that kind of like puckery sort of face. When I was first learning how to play trombone, somebody told me to make a face like I was kissing a monkey, which kind of seems silly to me now. But you really just want to think about tight corners, nice solid seal, and the air is just going to come out in a little stream from between the middle of your lips, like this. But you need to vibrate your lips, right, to make the mouthpiece vibrate and produce a sound. And so at the same time that the air is coming out of your lips, you're also vibrating them. That part can feel a little bit tricky, but it gets easier the more you practice. And so now we're going to put it all together. Mouthpiece, tight corners, nice little seal, and the air, and the vibrating lips. And then, when you put the mouthpiece back on the horn, you produce a sound. A lot of the partials that you start to play in when you first play trombone are low B flat, F, and middle B flat. The way that you change those partials has to do with the speed of the air coming out of your mouth. For lower notes, you use a slower air, and for higher notes, you use a cooler, faster air. We talked a little bit earlier about the different slide positions. I'll show you some of them right now. So let's try this. I will play that middle B flat, and I'm going to go through all 7 positions. Sometimes it can feel a little challenging to know where the slide positions are. There's a couple of tricks that help. If you remember, first is just all the way in. Third is right at the bell for most people. And then second is just right between those two. And then fourth is just beyond the bell with this inner slide kind of helping you guide it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then after that, it's pretty much the same amount each way. It gets easier with practice. And sometimes when you're first learning how to play trombone, your arms aren't quite long enough if you're a little bit younger and you're still growing, but that's okay. You just grow into it and you find ways to reach out. Even now, as a 26-year-old adult, I have a hard time getting all the way out to 7th position, so I just kind of use my fingers. I don't know if you can really see that. Use my fingers and really lean into it with my whole shoulder like this. Boop. Just stretch all the way up. And then I guess I'll play a little solo for you so you can hear what fully playing a trombone sounds like. I hope you enjoyed learning about the trombone. I hope I covered everything I was supposed to cover. And if you have any questions, hopefully I can answer them for you in person sometime. Thanks so much.